From Bart Starr to Drake May, from $12 tickets to $5,000, from radio to TV, from TV to streaming, a lot has changed in 60 years since the first Super Bowl. But one thing has remained the same. This country still loves this darn stinking sport, and here at NDTV, we are no exception. Welcome to the best part of your Friday afternoon. Welcome to the Super Bowl edition of Shamrock Sports. And welcome into the second floor of the Duncan Student Center. I'm Chris Dailey, joined alongside the 12th man himself, Ethan Laslo, and a man who is as loyal to his team as it gets, but to call him a loyalist would be a complete and utter lie. He is a Patriot through and through. Zach Wirth, everybody, I am pumped to be with you guys, talking Super Bowl with a Seahawks and Patriots fan.
It's great to be here. Stoked for Super Bowl Sunday, of course. Big game. And
yeah, I'm excited to be here. Excited to see the Patriots back in the Super Bowl where they belong.
Yeah, back in the Super Bowl. For the Patriots, this could be their record-setting 7th Lombardi trophy. That would break a deadlock tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the flip side of the coin, you got the Seattle Seahawks searching for their second. So, gentlemen, in the grand scheme of things, what would a win on Sunday mean for your respective ball clubs? Ethan, let's start with you.
Well, to put it plain and simple, guys, Seahawks win this Super Bowl, they're officially back. You know, after the disastrous ending to Super Bowl 49, the Seahawks were kind of in a state of purgatory for a while. They kind of drifted up and down the rankings, but never really able to break through like they did in the early 2010s. Now, though, Mike McDonald's got this team humming once again, and if they can get their second Super Bowl victory on Sunday night, this team is officially back.
Yeah, it's been a great season for the Seahawks. They were 4-13 just a year ago, and now they are finding their groove. Zach, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if the Patriots were to win this game, I think the conversation for the greatest NFL franchise would be over. You can make the debate right now with the Steelers, but with a win here, that would be their 7th Lombardi trophy, the most in NFL history. Already, this is their 12th Super Bowl appearance. Again, the most in NFL history. Just last night, the head coach of the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, was named the coach of the year. He took this team from 4-13 last year to 14-3 with a trip to the Super Bowl. Again, the first time in NFL history that has been done. If the Patriots were to win this game, the conversation is over. They are the greatest franchise in NFL history.
Yeah, you really can't debate that. 7 Lombardi trophies. That is surreal. I feel like my whole childhood, I just see the Patriots in the Super Bowl every year. I especially remember Super Bowl 49. It was the Patriots versus the Seahawks. Malcolm Butler intercepted on the goal line. Why on earth the Seahawks decided to run the ball, I don't really know.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah, I could imagine. But a lot of drama in that game. Do you feel like any of it's going to be now playing a role on Sunday night, especially, you know, with the lights shining bright and it's Super Bowl 60 and these teams are now 11 years removed, but they still feel this pain and suffering for you guys and, of course, all the tribulations from Super Bowl 49.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Chris, hearing you say intercepted Malcolm Butler, that is the best thing a Patriots fan can hear. That was one of the best moments of my life watching that. I'm sorry to bring it up, Ethan, but the past week, that clip has been all over social media. It's been running a ton. That is the talk of this Super Bowl, is that Super Bowl 49 and whether that's going to play a part in this. The thing I have to say, though, is this is the same fans, but it is completely new teams. None of these players were in that game. Most of them weren't even in the NFL. So, well, for the fans, it's going to be in their minds. I know as a Patriots fan, I want to see the Patriots get it done again. And as a Seahawks fan, I know Ethan wants to see them get their revenge. But for the players themselves, I don't think it's going to be too much of a factor.
Yeah, for the most part, Chris, I'm going to agree with Zach on this one. Realistically, for the players, this shouldn't play as much of a role as it would have, say, 8 years ago if these teams were to square off in the big game again. But I will say, it should definitely be in the back of the minds of the Seahawks players. You know, these guys may not have been on that team, but they certainly understand what it means to the guys like John Schneider, who were with the Seahawks at the time. Shout out to John Schneider, though, only executive in NFL history to take a completely different roster and coaching staff to the Super Bowl with the same team. So,
yeah, that's pretty impressive. And to your point, Zach, I mean, 11 years ago, Drake May was a child for crying out loud, and now he's starting in the Super Bowl. We're going to take a quick break here on Shamrock Sports. When we're back, we're going to hear from Riley Leonard on what life in the NFL is like.
Welcome to the studio. I'm Avery White, station manager here at Notre Dame Television, and because we all work together, we get very close. but sometimes you might say a little too close.
Yeah, Trey, I like what you're doing right here. Yep. Oh, that looks really good. Yep. And then when you're down, it's all in the hips. Yep, it's all in the fire. Fire. Yeah, that's beautiful, dude. Dude, great.
And welcome back to Shamrock Sports' Super Bowl Spectacular. I'm Chris Dailey, and while it's so fun to talk about the nitty and gritty of New England and Seattle, we would be remiss not to check in on a Golden Domer who's making his mark in the NFL. This past week, I had the chance to do just that by catching up with former Notre Dame quarterback Reidy Leonard. We talked all things about the Indianapolis Colts and what life is like in a quarterback room that's stacked with experience.
Leonard stops, he throws another.
Anthony Richardson, he's the man. Like, he taught me so much about being a young player in this league. Daniel, I've known him for a long time. He's actually in my wedding coming up. Philip lives a mile down the street from me right now in Fairhope, Alabama. So those two guys, they've already taught me so much off the field stuff and how to handle myself. But to get into a room with them and watch film with them for like 8 hours in a row on an off day is like, what a blessing. You know, people would pay big money to be able to do that. So learned so much from those guys.
Leonard put those lessons he learned to work in his first NFL start against the Texans in Week 17. A strong performance made even more special because of those who were there to see it.
I think the thing that goes unnoticed is that they were at every single game. So they spent a lot of time just watching and waiting for the moment. So when it happened, I was able to throw him the ball to my dad. It's still sitting in our living room now in a case. I mean, that's why you play the game. That's what you remember when you look back at, you know, a career. Those are the memories that last a lifetime.
But for Leonard, it's not just the triumphs he'll remember. It's the trials and tribulations that forced him to dig deep within. That was especially true during his first few starts with the Fighting Irish.
I think the moment I'm most proud of is the moments after the NIU loss. I talk about it a lot, but if you saw me on campus after that game, you didn't, because I didn't show my face. I was very adamant about, you know, once again, wearing a hood to class and not wanting to be seen. That took like a huge toll on me. I didn't sleep for a week until the next game. And to this day, that next game against Purdue was the most nervous I ever felt in my entire life.
From the sting of the NIU loss to sharing NFL moments with his family, Reidy Leonard has come a long way. And after a successful rookie season, it's safe to say the best is yet to come. Reidy Leonard, what a guy. Great football player and an even better dude. But with that, we're going to dive back into some Super Bowl talk. If you're just joining us, I'm Chris Dailey, joined by Ethan Laslo and Zach Wirth. And guys, the Patriots' playoff run up to this point has raised a lot of eyebrows. They beat a Chargers team 16-3 in the wild card round. Wasn't really a great game for Justin Herbert, the Chargers star quarterback, and the same can be said in the divisional round. Against the Texans, C.J. Stroud threw 4 interceptions, 5 turnovers total, with a fumble as well. The Patriots win that game, and then they move into the AFC Championship and beat a Bo Nix-less Broncos team. Jarrett Stidham was the starting quarterback in that game. Only 10-7, kind of a snooze fest. I think I might have even went to sleep at some point in that game. So the question now is, are the Patriots a deserved Super Bowl team or a group that's just benefited from having a favorable hand? And because I can feel Zach's blood boiling right now, we're going to start with Ethan.
So, Chris, I will say, I will be as skeptical as anybody else about this past Super Bowl run. But it's the NFL, the National Football League. Every team can beat any team on any given Sunday. So you got to give the Patriots some credit. But they have had quite an easy run to the Super Bowl. You know, you face a team like the Houston Texans where their quarterback has 5 turnovers in a game. I don't care if it's the best defense in the league on paper. You should be putting up more than 28 points when a team gifts you 5 turnovers. The Seahawks put up more points than that against the Rams, who were arguably the best or second best team in the NFL, right next to the Seahawks for most of the season, with far less than 5 turnovers going their way. So I give the Patriots a lot of credit, but it's hard not to be skeptical.
Yeah, it's really hard not to be, but Zach, I'm sure you're not. So talk to me, what are you thinking about this Patriots run so far?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, people are really undervaluing the Patriots here. And yes, you can make the strength of schedule talk, especially in the regular season. They had the easiest schedule in the NFL, but they did beat teams like the Ravens, who are a kick away from winning the division, making the playoffs. They whooped a Panthers team who took that Rams team to the brink in that playoff game. So in that playoff, in the regular season, you know, they did beat easy teams, but they also beat teams who made the playoffs, and they beat good teams. In the playoffs, they beat 3 top 5 defenses in the NFL. The first time that's ever been done in NFL history. And yes, well, the opposing offenses were not good at all. CJ Stroud had 5 turnovers. As you said, they still put up the points when they needed to. They put up 28 points against the number 1 defense in the league. Regardless of turnovers, that is something that cannot be overlooked. Defense will be the biggest struggle they have to overcome against the Seahawks here. But I think that they have proved themselves against these top defenses. I'm confident that they have what it takes. Drake May and the offense will have to step it up, though.
I told you guys, Zach is loyal, but he is a Patriot through and through, as we just saw there. We're now going to turn our attention over to the quarterback battle. We've got Sam Darnold, who becomes the first quarterback drafted in the loaded 2018 class to start in his Super Bowl against Drake May, as he's known online. I'm not really into all those sort of things, but he has developed quite the fan base online, and he's got the stats on the field to prove it. He finished second last night in MVP voting to Matthew Stafford. So what are you guys making of this quarterback battle? It's no Brady versus Mahomes, but it's an interesting one nevertheless.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, people aren't giving this quarterback battle as much attention as I think it deserves. Sam Darnold is looking to prove himself against the Patriots. He's currently 0-4 in his career. Everybody remembers that infamous game when he was on the Jets against the Patriots. After a really tough loss, he was quoted in an interview saying that he saw ghosts out on the field. Not something you want your starting quarterback to say. Drake May, on the other hand, was absolutely robbed of the MVP award. Last night, he got second to Matthew Stafford, and what I think he absolutely deserved it. He's looking to prove why he deserved that award. He's looking to prove why he is the most valuable player in the league. This quarterback matchup, the story here is going to be story versus talent. Sam Darnold is the underdog. He is trying to make his way back up to the top. He has been doubted his entire career. Drake May is only in his second year, already taking his team to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl. He is looking to make a case for being the best player in the NFL. Something to watch, though, is Drake May is battling a shoulder injury. It's kind of been kept under wraps this entire playoffs, but that will be something to watch.
That is definitely something to monitor. Ethan, how about yourself?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the Sam Darnold story just as much as anybody, especially as a Seahawks fan. And I think that he has played his best football down the stretch in the playoffs. You look back to the NFC Championship, him and Matthew Stafford essentially played as good of a quarterback game as you could hope for from two guys that you maybe wouldn't know. Matthew Stafford, he's a little older. Sam Darnold, just a lot of questions around him throughout his entire career. My thing, though, is that Drake May hasn't been playing his best football down the line, unlike Sam Darnold. He's got a 55.8% completion percentage compared to 72% in the regular season. He's thrown 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, along with losing, I believe, 3 fumbles, along with 6 fumbles total over the course of this postseason. He's really struggled, but he's done well with his legs. The thing for me is how he's going to match up against this Seahawks defense. They're loaded from bottom to top. They've got guys like Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence up front, and then they've got guys on the back end like Nick Emanwari and Devon Witherspoon to boot.
Yeah, I'm excited all around for this one. I love interesting quarterback matchups. I'm done with all the so-called faces of the leagues being in the Super Bowl. Give me a Sam Darnold. Give me a Drake May. I'm loving it. And I'm also really excited to talk women's hoops. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we are back, we're going to be with Molly O Malley.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke. Your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, a week, a month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too.
Welcome back into Shamrock Sports. I'm Chris Dailey, joined by one of the best Irish dancers on the Tri-Campus and the lead analyst for Notre Dame women's basketball, Molly O Malley. Molly, I'm excited to be with you, and your name is a bit of a tongue twister, I'll tell you.
It is. I get that a lot. You know, it's a very, very Irish name.
Yeah, well, Molly, Notre Dame women's basketball, you were on the call last night. You had a front row seat to it. 80-70 win over Virginia Tech. It was a much-needed one for Neil Ivy's team. What did you make of last night's game?
Well, it was so much fun to be on a call and just absolutely outstanding performance by the Irish. It's what I like to call a come-from-behind kind of win. Let's have a look. Virginia Tech started off strong. Carly Wenzel with 3 threes to start it out. Notre Dame needed an X factor, and that very player was KK Bransford. She stepped up in every aspect of her game. With Malaya Coles being announced as sick and out for the game, she had to step up despite being out of injury. It was her first home game back. And then Hannah Hidalgo, she's going to do what Hannah Hidalgo does. By no means did she have one of her outstanding games. What really pushed it for the Irish was their teamwork, as we see right there. Now, the second half performance on defense by the Irish really turned the tables. They forced 21 turnovers and scored 29 points off of them, dominating in the second half. If you watch the Irish well, you know how crucial their game is to defense and scoring off of those steals. Now, it started raining in Purcell Pavilion. The players on the Fighting Irish were just draining threes. All 6 players scored in double digits. And what I take from that, Chris, is that it shows that Notre Dame's depth that they have all around. They scored 60% in the second half from the arc. It just shows how they're embracing their confidence, they're finding their rhythm, and they're finding their trust, which is the most important thing moving forward.
Yeah, much needed win moving forward because they have a few games left in February before March Madness rolls around. So what does a win last night do for this Irish team looking ahead?
Well, it's going to be very crucial, like you said, with March coming up. Coach Ivy talks about how important that February run is. They've got lots of big conference games coming up, including one on Sunday. They're facing Virginia, which just lost to Virginia Tech. Now, Notre Dame just beat Virginia Tech, and they did it without Coles and without Hannah having a 20-point game. If they can do that to Virginia Tech, they can do that to any team, I believe. But they need to embrace that momentum, as you mentioned, and use that to pull forward. They were nowhere near how they were ranked and anticipated to be at the beginning of the season, but I believe they can work their way back up and secure a spot in the NCAA tournament if they do well in the ACC.
Yeah, the women's team building momentum at the right time, the men's team not so much. Our very own Tyler Reidy and Jack Rinaldi gave us the inside scoop after their recent loss to Louisville on the road at the KFC Yum Center. Take it away.
More treacherous conditions against the top 25 for Notre Dame as the Irish fall on a Wednesday night at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, 76-65 to the 24th ranked Cardinals, along with Jack Rinaldi. Tyler Reidy here with you on NDTV, reporting from the Yum Center. Jack, we called the game on WVFI, and we saw how that second half played out for Notre Dame. This 11-point affair was very much within reach against the 24th ranked Cardinals, but the Irish going scoreless from the field for more than 7 minutes in half number 2 had it slip away.
Well, we opened the broadcast by asking, is tonight the night? Is this the night, the game that something could be different? And instead, we got more of the same. Notre Dame was 0-11 against ranked opponents against Micah Shrewsbury. Coming into tonight, they leave 0-12. How did that happen? Well, like a lot of these games against ranked teams, it's out there. The game is there for the taking, especially in the second half. The game was tight. It was back and forth. Louisville turned it over. They missed shots, but Notre Dame could not capitalize. And in a key stretch, Tyler, like you said, they went scoreless for nearly 7 minutes. They have to figure that out if they want to have more success down the line.
The Irish also struggled from the free throw line, going 6 of 14. Louisville was much better in that area as well. So it's a second consecutive week with a top 25 loss that Notre Dame had an opportunity to seize control of. Is there anything looking ahead, Jack, as Notre Dame moves on to Florida State on Saturday, that you saw that you like from the Irish, that they can continue to build on heading now into this final month?
I mean, I think you continue to build on the things that you've built on so far, where you can build on the three-point shooting. They're a team that has a lot of shooters. Cole Serta is great. I'm thinking Ryder Frost, the freshman, is great. Braden Shrewsbury, when he's on, is great. Brady Kaler shows flashes there and defensively. There's a lot to build on with this team, so I plead, do not give up on Notre Dame basketball. The best is certainly yet to come.
You sound like Micah Shrewsbury after the Louisville game last year.
We're going to get this thing back on track, Tyler.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But hey, for more analysis on Notre Dame men's basketball after this Wednesday night loss in Louisville, let's send it back to the studio for our experts here at NDTV.
Thanks so much to two of our best, Tyler and Jack. We really appreciate your insight there. And now we're bringing in Cian Bagenstose.
Stop.
Cian, I'm so excited to be with you, man. Wednesday night was a rough one. We just saw it for Notre Dame men's basketball. What went wrong for Micah Shrewsbury's team?
Do we really talk about men's basketball, man? Today's a happy day, but This is an epitome of the season as a whole. The team shows these flashes of greatness going up by 9 points against a ranked Louisville team early in the first half, and then they just kind of fall apart. I drew a graph of the team. It's so wobby-wooby, up and down and up and down and up and down. They just can't put it together, and against Louisville, they showed that once again. That's like the biggest problem with the team and why they're not in the tournament, which we'll talk about right now.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that, Cian, because a few weeks ago, or months rather, when you came on here, you were pumped up for this season, man. I mean, I always feel the energy with you, but especially on that day. You had some big claims about how good this team is going to be this year. In the grand scheme of things, why have they just not lived up to par this season?
Yeah, Chris, I mean, I was in this seat saying we were going to make the tournament after the Ohio State game because I saw the flashes of greatness and I bought into it, and I thought of all the talent we acquired. Chris Tout, the nation's leading rebounder, who is a literal board. He's not a human, he's a board. And then we had Jalen Harrelson, the hotshot 5-star freshman. I thought of all the talent, the flashes of greatness would start to be a regular thing, but unfortunately it's not. And I think when talent cannot consistently play, that kind of reflects on coaching. And you guys have mentioned in previous shows that a certain Barry might be on the hot seat, and I kind of agree with that, unless they can make a Lynn Sandy late season run. But right now, not looking good for us, and we're going to have to start playing more consistently or else kind of find someone else.
That Lynn Sandy run does not look likely, unfortunately, Cian, for us too. But hey, we still have a lot of fun stuff left. We're going to be doing a little bit of sham bookie, so we can brighten the mood here on Shamrock Sports. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we're back, we're joining Ethan and Zach for that.
Here at Shamrock Sports, I pride myself on knowing a lot about, well, sports. And I mean all sports. I think some of the people around the office have started to lose their touch a little bit. Have you been reading up on any lines for the Texas U18 badminton tournament this weekend?
Absolutely not.
What?
No, what?
You don't think the boys from El Paso got a good shot at it this year?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dude, you got to figure it out, man. Come on. We do this. Murph, just the guy I was looking for. Okay, so you think Mo Kabasi can go back-to-back in the Yemen camel jumping this year? I'm thinking about sprinkling a few bucks on it.
What are you talking about?
Mohammed Kabasi? Come on, man. I thought you knew. No. Dude, no one in this office. Are we serious? Kira. Hey. Okay, as a Michigander, I want your opinion on this. Michigan cherry pit spitting contest. You like Lisa Fitzgerald at all?
What's that?
Well, you live there. You don't know the Michigan cherry pit spitting?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so sick of this club.
And welcome back to the Super Bowl edition of Shamrock Sports alongside Zach Wirth, Cian, and Ethan. I am Chris Dailey, and I am pumped up to be here, guys, because we're talking Super Bowl props. It's always fun to talk about scores and over-unders and all that nonsense, but I'm kind of curious about what interesting things you guys are looking at for this big game. So, Zach, without further ado, you can start us off.
Yeah, I'll start it off with the first thing in the Super Bowl, the national anthem. Charlie Puth is going to be performing it. Every year in the Super Bowl, there's weird things you can bet on. The length of the national anthem is one of them. The line right now is 120.5 seconds. Rumors say Charlie Puth is trying to do something a little bit jazzy with his anthem this year. To me, that says long. I'm taking the over 120.5 seconds.
I like that. I mean, I can't personally sports bet. Maybe if I go to that app called Fliff, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Maybe I can, but I am saying yes to an in-game streaker. Plus 300 odds, I believe, for that. I just feel that, hey, maybe, you know, when in San Francisco, we're going to see an in-game streaker. So hopefully not for the security, but we shall see. Cian, take us away.
So we got Shane Gillis and Post Malone, my favorite singer, doing a Bud Light ad, and I am betting that Shane Gillis finds a way to mention Bud Light. Him and Post Malone drinking Bud Lights. Shane's even like, Post, you know where you can find the best Bud Light ever? Notre Dame Stadium. And then he'll complain about how we got robbed from the playoffs, you know. We should have been Alabama. I'll say we should have been Alabama.
Well, I'll tell you what, they do sell alcohol now at the house that Rockney built. So, hey, maybe we see that. Finally, Ethan, what are you looking at?
Well, other than the national anthem, Chris, one of the most common bets in the Super Bowl is what color is the Gatorade going to be? You know, every year the coach of the winning team gets their Gatorade bath. And me personally, you know, both teams, primary color, blue. So what color is the Gatorade going to be? It's going to be blue. Hammer the line.
We'll see about that. I feel like that one is a bit too obvious unless Vegas maybe pulling the strings there. But hey, that's it. You can maybe use these bets. If you do, use them wisely. We also want to give a quick shout out to the Scholastic. If you are here at the University of Notre Dame, make sure to pick up a copy. It's our annual magazine. It is the longest serving and longest running student run magazine in the country, all the way since the 1800s, Cian. A lot of history here. I actually have an article about history. So make sure to get a copy if you're on campus, and make sure to watch the big game on Sunday. It's been a pleasure from all of us to bring it to you here on Friday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today. From Shamrock Sports, Chris Dailey, Zach Wirth, Cian Bagenstose, Ethan Laslo signing off, and go Irish.
All right.
Ey, Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Muchas novias. Hoy tengo a una, mañana a otra. Ey, pero no hay boda. Titi me preguntó si tengo muchas novias. Muchas novias. Hoy tengo a una, mañana a otra. Me las voy a llevar a todas pa' un VIP, un VIP. Ey, saluden a Titi, vamos a tirarnos un selfie. 6 chis, ey, que sonrían las que ya les metí.